ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 135 द्रवत्वमुदके वन्ना वौष्ण्यं काठिन्यमश्मनि मायायां दुर्घटत्वं च स्वतः सिद्ध्यति नान्यतः. So having come to this topic of Tat Padartha Vichara, Tat Padartha analysis. Vidyaranya now is analyzing the Ishvara, which is the meaning of the word Tat occurring in Mahavakya. And we have seen also Ishvara has three components. When the definition is Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam, so it has three components. One is a Maya, the reflecting medium, and then the reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, and then Chit, the original consciousness. So these three things are there, which is, but in this the Chit basically is inherent in both. Chit is inherent, the consciousness is inherent in the Maya, the reflecting medium, and Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness. And which is inherent in these two is Satyam. And Chidabhasa and the reflecting medium are Mithya. So all these three put together is basically the Vachyartha of Tat Padartha. And then to arrive at the Lakshyartha, because Vachyartha does not fit in Mahavakya. Vachyartha fits all independently. But Vachyartha cannot fit in any equation with the Jiva. And so Jiva is Jiva and Ishvara is Ishvara, right? So Jiva is basically a creature and Ishvara is a creator. So where is the question of the equation? And therefore, we will have to drop this meaning, the direct meaning of this Jiva and Ishvara, and we have to arrive at the Lakshyartha. And for that, out of these three components, what is Mithya, you have to drop. That's all. And so drop the reflecting medium and the reflected consciousness. What is Satyam, you have to retain that. And therefore Jiva, the Lakshyartha of a Jiva also will be this consciousness, and Lakshyartha of a Ishvara also is consciousness. So this, of course, doing this job, taking the Lakshyartha, etc., it's a later business. And in fact, we can take it right now just as a Vachyartha, Vyavarik Ishvara. And this understanding of Ishvara is impossible without understanding this Maya, without analyzing the Maya. So because Maya is a crucial, significant component of Ishvara. In fact, all the glories and powers basically of Ishvara are because of Maya Shakti only. And so Vidyaranya started with the analysis of Maya, and for that purpose he took basically the Nrsimha Uttaratapaniya Upanishad. The definition of Ishvara, we have got it from Shvetashatar Upanishad. And there it was said, while defining Ishvara, it has been said, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Mayinam tu Maheshwara, which possesses Maya, which gets reflected in the Maya, and that is Ishvara. Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. Maheshwaram is the Ishvara only. And then, then we thought, what is Maya? And then we got a Shruti support. I mean, we got a definition of Maya also from Nrsimha Uttartapani Upanishad. And so we independently saw the verses, of course, in this chapter. But now we are going back to this Nrsimha Uttartapani Upanishad, and that is the fourth mantra of the ninth chapter describe this this Maya, and which we saw in 8 verses from verse number 125 to verse number 132. What we saw in those verses now, and which has a source in that Upanishad, Nrsimha Uttartapani Upanishad, that Upanishad mantra itself now we are seeing. So please understand, right now we are postponing the Pancadasi chapter and we are going to that mantra which narrates this, gives a description of a Maya. Of course, it's a very, very big mantra. I told you also at that time. We'll see few things out of that which is very important for us. So it says, the mantra says, what is the mantra? 9th chapter, 4th mantra of the Nrsimha Uttartapani Upanishad. Maya cha tamorupa anubhutihi tadetam jadam mohatmakam anantam tucham idam rupam asya. Then we have to put a full stop. Asya vyanjika nitya nivruttani mudaihi atma eva drishta. Asya sattvam asatvam cha darshayati siddhatva siddhatva bhyam swatantra aswatantratvena pravartate, etc. Pravartate we have to add. Still it is there. But this much part we have seen in the verses 125 to 132. So I am referring to this mantra, which is a very long mantra. I am referring to that much part of the mantra. And I am giving the meaning of this mantra. So, well, very elaborate study of the Maya. It's a very amazing thing. See, without this concept of Maya, etc., we are not able to talk. But we basically learn all the 10 Upanishads without having a much elaboration on Maya. That's something amazing. And so, this is a unique to this Nrsimha Uttartapani Upanishad, which is not included in this 10 Upanishads. But still it describes the Maya, which is bread and butter of us, Anyway, so let's see briefly the meaning of this mantra. Maya cha tamo rupa. You will find that, Swamiji, we have learned all this, but you must have learned because we have seen already in the verses. But we are going back to the source. Maya cha tamo rupa. Maya is the nature of tamas. But tamas here means opposite to prakasha or chaitanya. Chaitanya viruddha tamo rupa. We have to define like this. And here word tamaha should not be taken as one of the 3 gunas like sattva, rajas, tamas, etc. We should not take as tamoguna of this. Here the word tamas is a reference with reference to which is opposite to the consciousness in terms of nature. So tamo rupa is equal to jada rupa, you can also say. And definitely what is inert is it is opposite in nature to the consciousness. And so this tamas here is this, and this tamas includes sattva, rajas, tamas, and therefore this tamas is bigger. Tamo rupa means not a guna, and therefore, well, it includes all the 3 gunas. This tamo rupa Maya. It is not one of the 3 gunas. Anyway, so Maya is chaitanya viruddha. Jada actually. Anyway, this is the part of the mantra. Maya cha tamo rupa. Then it says anubhutihi, and we have to add word here pramanam. Anubhuti pramanam, anubhava pramanam, pratyaksha pramanam. Whenever word anubhava comes, you should replace it with pratyaksha. Nothing to worry. Anubhava, whenever word anubhava comes, shruti, yukti, anubhava. So anubhava means basically pratyaksha, perception. Anyway, so we have to add the word pramanam here. And so proof of Maya is what? Pramanam means a proof. Proof for existence, etc. So proof. So Maya anubhuti. Anubhuti means anubhuti pramanena siddha. So Maya, the proof for Maya is a direct experience, our own experience. So anubhutihi mayayaha pramanam. So Maya tamo rupa bhavati. For that, the pramanam is basically anyway. So one Gujarati word appeared in between, so somebody is laughing at me. Anyway, so Maya tamo rupa bhavati. So anubhutihi pramanam. Basically, this anubhuti prakasha, there are words. See, in Shastra, there are several words are used for varieties of the meaning, and so we have to be very clear. In fact, Anubhuti Prakasha, there is a Vidyaranya's other text. So Anubhuti Prakasha means what? So their Anubhuti is basically the essence of the entire experience. Is called Anubhuti. And essence of anything is Brahman, that we know very well. And therefore essence of any experience also is Brahman. But what is it meaning? By just making a statement, you cannot go away. Yeah. So in a Anubhava, well, definitely there is, let's take a experience of a seeing. Right? I'm talking about perception only. Experience of seeing. Now, in that seeing experience, the three things are involved: the seer, the object of seeing, and the very seeing. Right? Three things are there. All the essence of all the three is Atma, Brahman consciousness. Right? And therefore, Anubhuti is equal to the essence of an experience. So here, of course, Anubhuti is told, but so here we have to take it just experience. But Anubhuti is somewhere else. In some Upanishads and everywhere when it comes, you have to understand it as Atma. So this is just by the way. Here Anubhuti means basically a experience. Because Maya Anubhuti Siddha. So Maya is basically proven. What is a proof for Maya? So that is basically this experience, our own perception. So that is the meaning here. Here it's just Anubhuti means a perception, you can say. Somewhere else Anubhuti is the essence of all experiences. Essence of any experience, you can say. Anyway, how do we experience that Maya? Well, that is described tadetam jadam mohatmakam. This is the way we experience. This is the way we perceive. And therefore, what is that? Tadetam jadam mohatmakam anantam, etc. etc. So it is experienced as a jada prapancha externally, and mohatmakam, it is internally experienced as ignorance, darkness, and therefore it is available for perception. And so Anubhuti is a pramana for that. Tadetam jadam mohatmakam. Jadam externally, mohatmakam internally. And further it says, bahyam jadam antaram ajnanam, you can say that way also. Tadetam jadam mohatmakam. Well, the mantra does not say, we will have to add it. Anantam means it is everywhere, because since it is in the form of a world and it's available for experiencing for any jiva, basically, and so it is anantam, it is everywhere. It's limitless. In terms of Vyavarika, this is all terms of Vyavara. Swamiji, it is limitless, means it is Brahman, etc. Here we are talking about all these things from empirical angle. So empirically it is all pervading. Like Akasha we also say, right? Akasha is all pervading. Akasha is Ananta, we say. So when we say like that, you have to understand it is empirically, we say. Not in terms of consciousness. We can't equate with the consciousness. Why can't we equate with the consciousness? We can't equate because there is nothing other than consciousness to equate with. Yeah. So we cannot say Akasha and Brahman. There is nothing like called Akasha and Brahman. There is Brahman. No, but there is Akasha. There is a Jnana. Okay, good. Let us have it. That's okay. But you say Akasha and Brahman. This itself is a wrong conclusion. Anyway, so basically it's all pervading empirically. And Upanishad, knocks out the idea that if you think the all pervading, in terms of reality, forget about it, it is tucham. So from Shastric angle, Maya does not exist. Maya does not exist means creation does not exist. Creation does not exist means all five elements do not exist. And therefore, basically Akasha itself is not there. Where is the question of comparing all pervading Akasha and all pervading Brahman? There is nothing like that. Anyway, so Tucham is Asadrupam, non-existent. So Maya is Jada Prapancha, it is experience externally, ignorance internally, it is everywhere, and from Shastric angle or from a standpoint of a reality, it is Asadrupa, it is non-existent. This much part I have explained of this mantra, of this Upanishad. Then it says, Idam Rupam Asya. This is the next part. So we have to understand Idam Asya Rupam. Idam. Idam means this. This is the form of that Maya Tattva. Because Asya it says, so I can't say Maya. because then I have to say asyaha. And therefore, well, asya means maya tattvam. That we have resolved that issue. So idam asya karya rupam bhavati. This visible aspect is the karya version of the maya. So this visible version, jada prapancha, outside and inside, well, that, my ignorance, let's say in mind, but totally blank ignorance, well, no thoughts, etc. Well, this experienced maya, the experienceable maya, the visible maya, the tangible maya, well, which is we call it as a karya rupam, vyakta rupam, manifest version. Idam rupam asya. So idam means this means this creation, karya rupam, etc., manifest version. But why do you say it is vyakta rupam, karya rupam, etc.? Because it is available only during the srushti. Maya available in this form during the srushti. So this tangible universe is available only during the srushti, and therefore it comes under karya rupa. Then further, asya vyanjika. So we have to complete the sentence. Yasya vyanjika karana rupa maya. Asya vyanjika means the karana version of the maya is the producer. Vyanjika means a producer, which brings into manifestation. Vyanjika. So vyanjayati iti vyanjika. Vyanjayati. V plus anj dhatu means to manifest. So vyanjayati means to make manifest. Let it brings into manifestation. Produces. It creates, let's say. Whatever. So vyanjika means a manifester. So asya. So asya means, well, definitely of this creation. Jagataha. So jagataha vyanjika bhavati. And therefore, well, maya is a manifester of this world, and therefore world is a karya rupa. It is also maya. But asya rupam karya rupam. Idam. Idam means this world is a karya rupam. And asya vyanjika, of that world, which is karya rupam, which is a manifest form of the maya, well, but who is a manifester? Well, the maya itself is a manifester, which is a karana. So karana rupa is the one which draws out or brings out, unfolds. They use varieties of the verbs, which produces, creates, manifest this karya rupa maya. So maya has now two versions. You can understand karana maya, karya maya. Avyakta, invisible karana maya, karya rupa is this world. Vyakta, visible. Then further mantra says nitya nivritta api. Even though it is ever non-existent, nivritta means asad rupa. Abhava rupa, you can, non-existent totally. And so when it is non-existent, when maya is non-existent, nitya. So basically, even though maya is we should not say nitya. If you separate, we have to say nitya. Nitya nivritti rupa maya. So it is ever non-existent. From what angle? Well, basically from Shastra's angle, right? Therefore, na bhumir asti, na cha vannihi asti, na cha vayuhu, etc., etc., na bhumirapo, na cha vannir asti, etc. There are no elements at all. That is how the maya is negated in the Shastra, in the Upanishad itself. I think this is in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, if I am sure of it. So this is, well, basically it says there are no elements. There is no Akasha, there is no Vayu, there is no this. Then what is there? Well, all that is Brahman. So this is non-existent, ever non-existent. Anyway, Mudaihi Atma eva drashta. This maya is seen as though existent by whom? As a real Atma, by whom? Mudaihi, by ignorant people. Maya, so by ignorant people, maya is seen as though existent. Mudaihi Atma. Atma means a existent entity, real entity, let's say, real. Atma is considered, maya is taken as a real by these ignorant people. Okay, now what is the function of maya? This is a description regarding the nature and the satta. What is the reality, etc. So, as Puja Swamiji says, no ontological terms. Very nicely he says, we say this is mithya. He says this is wrong statement. Don't say klip is mithya. Klip is not mithya. The reality, mithya is the word which we use for a given object in terms of its reality. Your understanding about the reality of the clip is mithya. Not clip is mithya. Could you follow what I am saying? So basically, any object is mithya. Don't equate object and mithya. Basically, that object, your understanding about the reality of the object is mithya, dependent existence, etc. And so this is a ontological term. Puja Swamiji calls them as a understanding of a reality. Well, this is called ontology basically. And so, well, aham satyam, etc. Anyway, so we have understood the nature. I mean, in this mantra, earlier we did everything. So we understood the nature of Maya, we understood now and satta of a Maya, etc. And now the function of the Maya is been described in the same mantra. Asya sattvam asatvam cha darshayati. So Maya brings about the existence and non-existence of the world. That's his function. How? Siddhatva asiddhatva bhyam. So siddhatva, by its manifestation, asiddhatva, and bringing into unmanifest form. Well, so by manifesting the world, come into existence, and when it is unmanifested, well, it is folded back, and so it becomes non-existent. And please understand, this non-existent I am purposely using. Don't think it becomes shunyam. I have already told you. Any potentially existent thing is considered as a non-existent. It is not non-existent. It is as though non-existent, because it is not available for any function. And therefore, if you want to insist non-existence, add an adjective, functional non-existence. Functional, because for function it is not available. This is the golden rule yesterday we saw, right? Okay. And so, when it is folded back, well, it becomes non-existent. Exactly like dream world. Exactly like dream. So we create dream world and he creates this world. Same thing. And Mandukya does this job of comparing, and ultimately make you understand that this world is basically like dream. There is a difference. Don't think it is dream. There is a difference. But it is like dream. And therefore for dream world, you don't bother once you get up and you basically don't think of it anymore. In fact, if I ask you that what did you see in the dream, perhaps you will have to scratch your head, and because you might have forgotten also. And therefore this world also is like that. Only thing is you have to wake up to understand it as a dream. Anyway, so basically, in this, like a dream world, what does our mind do? So mind does not project the dream world now, but the mind, when brings the dream world in existence by projecting during a dream state, well, that exists. And then once you get up, it becomes non-existent. So manifestation, so our own basically, this manifestation is basically this kind of a projection. Unmanifested or a production, creation, but creation is a projection, and unmanifestation is this resolving, going to the potential state. So Maya does this job. Its a function is Maya does this creation, manifestation, and destruction or resolution through manifestation and unmanifestation. Siddhatva asiddhatva bhyam, and that is Itham Bhute Trutiya again, in the form of this. So in the bringing in the form of manifestation and in the form of unmanifestation. Anyway, and then it says, last pair is swatantratva, aswatantratva bhyam, we can say, etc. And so in pravartate, you add it into that. Well, so it says Maya functions basically as an independent, swatantra, as an independent entity, and also as a dependent entity. It is swatantra as well as it is aswatantra also. And in what aspect it is dependent and in what aspect it is independent? Well, with regard to existence, we have seen that Maya has to depend upon Brahman. Why Maya? Anything has to depend upon Brahman actually, because Brahman is the only source of existence. Where it is told that Brahman is the only source of existence? Where is it told? We have studied that mantra very elaborately of the Chandogya. Sadeva Some idamagra asit ekameva dvitiyam. The whole this This whole creation was Sat. Sat means existence. So from existence everything came. And therefore basically from existence everything came means anything which has come into manifestation is non-separate from that. Because if it independently exists, we cannot say it has come from that Sat. Right? So it is non-separate. So basically borrowing existence also sometimes creates a problem. Like I am a person and who borrows money from you or something like that. Then, well, I am different, the money is different, etc. etc. So this borrowing existence also, any borrowing existence means basically a borrower is non-separate from the lender of the existence. That's all it means. That's all it means. Borrower is a non-separate from the lender. So basically, well, definitely. So this is how we have to understand. Existence is a common factor, and therefore two things you cannot count. And therefore one is non-separate from the other. If existence is common, existence of the pot is the existence of a clay. Well, then definitely I can say, well, pot borrows existence, but borrowing existence, to borrow it should be independently existent. Well, then why should it borrow existence? Well, right? Could you follow? And therefore these things are, these terms are used, you have to understand. Borrowing existence and all that, we'll have to understand properly. So Sadeva Sumai Damagrasi Ekameva Advitiyam, this one Brahman alone, well, basically, it has a natural existence, nature. And anything will have to borrow basically existence from Brahman, and that is Maya only. And Maya only manifests in this form. So all the forms also borrow existence from Brahman. All are non-separate from Brahman, therefore they are mithya. So with regard to that existence, well, Maya is dependent on Brahman, and once it borrows and comes to existence, then Maya becomes Bhasmasura, and therefore creating problem for Brahman itself. Once Maya borrows, existence from Brahman, very same Maya is subjugating Brahman, and which is nothing but who is that subjugated individual? We would like to show our sympathy. That I am Pote, okay? So I am a subjugated Brahman by my anyway, so powerful. It's just fantastic. So since I provide, the existence to the dream world, this is an example. Very dream world present me a thing that we have to chant a shloka. You can understand. You imagine the waker provides an existence to the dream world, and then same dream world basically creates such a problem that before going to the sleep, the person starts chanting mantra. Certain mantras are there. Dussapna parihara mantra. There are mantras. Dussapna parihara. So some people get very bad dreams. And for removing those kind of bad dreams, you should chant certain mantra and then go to sleep. So basically, the very whole dream world borrows consciousness. Whole dream world is lighting, right? It is, it is lighted, illumined by the consciousness, the waker. And every existence also is from me. Only the fault of the waker is, well, it covers itself with a blanket. That's problem. That's how I said one should not cover with the blanket. Ajnanam. If Ajnanam is not there, why waker will not turn into a dream world, dreamer, etc.? If Brahman does not have this Maya component, which is like Ajnanam, this would not have, this kind of a calamities would not be there. But anyway, so it is there. So the whole dream world borrows existence from me, illumined by me, and yet creates a threat to the same person. He shouts and wakes up suddenly also. So very same dream becomes, present me just like a Bhasmasura. So universe also, well, basically is like this. Maya is original Bhasmasura. Anyway, once the Maya borrows and come to the existence, then it converts this Brahman, which is basically the reality, into Vyavaharik Jeev Jagat and Jeev Jagat Rupi and Ishvara Rupa Srishti. So Nirvikalpa Brahman has become as though Vikalpas, Ishvara, Jiva and Jagat, etc. And all the then Well, definitely this much. So Nirvikalpa become Savikalpa by this Maya, has been converted, transformed into this. And then all this function of the Maya basically belong to the Maya. So, so what is borrowed from Brahman is just existence. Later, all the gunas and everything, and the function of the gunas and the creation and all belong to Maya. And therefore, from the standpoint of its function, Maya is Swatantra. So basically, it's like, you take something which has certain steps, but then the existence continues in that. Like, you take a gold bar and you make a certain ornament out of it, and then first from the bar you make a rod kind of a thing, and then the wires, and then you make a small rings, and then you connect everywhere. At least this gold continues, right? So basically, or let's say we forget about gold, existence continues. So like that. So basically, gold undergoes a parinama. I should not say parinama, but let's take as example. Gold undergoes that parinama. That's a job of gold. That's okay. But the very existence of the gold and existence of the rings and existence of the bar and existence of the wires and everything, and ultimately the existence of the ornament, that existence remains common. If that itself is not there, where is the question of all these ornaments and bar and everything? And therefore, please understand. So Brahman basically provides an existence throughout the Maya does its job of creating the whole varieties of the names and forms. The very existence till the final names and forms arrive. Till then, Brahman all along will be there. With the Maya, because Maya is non-separate. And so remaining non-separate from Brahman, Maya transforms into the varieties of the names and forms. That's so Maya is Swatantra for that. Triguna belongs to Maya, all the three gunas, and this entire creation is a job of three gunas only, and therefore ultimately it's a product of three gunas, and therefore basically this is how we have to understand. So Swatantra Aswatantratvena Maya Pravartate. Both the ways. It is independent and dependent for existence, etc. Well, this is the meaning of Nrsimha Uttaratapani Upanishad, 9th chapter and 4th mantra. Now, and which we have analyzed it from verse number 125 to 132 in our Pancadasi, chapter 6. Now, so all these 8 verses are a commentary on this, and after that, well, Vidyaranya goes to the next mantra of the same Upanishad, and that is the 5th mantra of the Nrsimhatapani Upanishad. And in that mantra also, the last portion, of course we saw that quotation also, I quoted yesterday, and that portion is Jiveshau Abhasena Karoti Maya, Jiveshau Abhasena Karoti, this much portion, and then Maya cha Avidya cha Swayameva Bhavati. This much we are taking. I have told you in Nrsimha Uttaratapani Upanishad, the mantras are itself is a section of such a big mantras. So we'll take a little relative portion which Vidyaranya had quoted. So that much part of the mantra we are taking. And so Jivesho Abhasena Karoti Maya cha Vidya cha Swayameva Bhavati, which I told yesterday also. And that let's see this mantra also. So 9th section, 5th mantra. And well, what does it say? This Maya alone is a responsible. Jivesho Abhasena Karoti. Here there is no subject. Verb is there. Subject is not there. You have to supply. Maya Karoti. Maya does the job. Maya is responsible for Jivesho. Maya is responsible for the creation of two-fold reflections. So this Vyashti micro reflection called Jiva, and the macro reflection, Samashti reflection, is called Ishvara. Both reflections basically arrive because of Maya only. And why do we say Maya is responsible? Because Maya serves as a reflecting medium. And well, by serving as a reflecting medium, Maya is responsible for the twofold reflections. Jiva, and that is Dasa. Ishvara, that is Swami. So, and basically the Brahman, well, is not a Dasa, not a Swami. These are just, original consciousness. Well, that is not a Dasa or a Swami. The reflected consciousness are Dasa and Swami. That division also is there, Jiva and Ishvara. So, well, only these two, I mean, these two reflections are, I mean, they are empirical, naturally. Chidabhasa means empirical. And so this, and then once they are created, Jiva, Ishvara, and well, of course, Jagat also, then Vyavara starts, whole drama starts. So that mantra Vidyaranya, of course, borrowed and gave a meaning, of course, 130 in verse 133, 134, where he said that Maya is responsible for the creation of Jiva, Ishvara, and Jagat. So now here we have to be careful. If Maya is responsible for Jeev, Jagat and Ishwar, but then you have to find a difference in that. Basically, what happens is Jagat is created by by Maya, but that's an apparent conversion of this Brahman. Apparent conversion of Brahman is done by Maya is called Jagat. Like the rope is apparently converted into the snake by ignorance of the rope. So, ignorance of the rope is responsible for apparent conversion of rope into snake. So, just as Ajnanam does this job, same way Maya does a apparent conversion of Brahman into Jagat. And that is how we say Brahman is a Vivarta Upadana Karanam of Jagat. Without getting transformed into Jagat, appears as Jagat. That is called Vivartam. Swaswarupa aparityagena, I have forgotten later in the definition. Swaswarupa aparityagena. Yad vibhati, something like that. Swaswarupa aparityagena. Without giving up one's own nature, one appears in the form of a given thing, then we can call that particular thing as a Vivartopadana Karana. So like rope. Rope, without undergoing a transformation in its own nature, appears as a snake. It's a jadam basically. That is its nature. It's jadam, inert, right? It is non-poisonous. But it appears as a conscious entity and also poisonous. So it is just a Vivartopadanakaram. The rope is called Vivartopadanakaram. But rope doesn't do that. Please understand. Rope does not do. That some idea came into the rope and he thought, let's for fun. Let me appear as a snake. The ignorance of the rope does this job. Same way Maya does job. Whatever is applied to the ignorance applies to Maya. And that's how I have told you also. So, I mean, for many years I have told you, this Maya is called Avidya. Right? I have told you one of the name of Maya is Avidya or Ajnana. Several names are there. Avyakta is, you can say Avyaktam, you can say Shaktihi, you can say Avidya, you can say Avyakritam, you can say Maya, several names, or you can say Prakriti, right? All the names, and we have understood the meaning of every word, because you say 8 names. Why are you saying 8 names? Well, because it unfolds. Every name unfolds a certain characteristic of a Maya, and so Maya is basically a material cause of the creation. So that is indicated by Prakriti. Prakriti means prakarshena kriti yogyatvat. Kriti means this creation. Maya appears into all these forms, names and forms. Maya transforms, let's say. Like, then again that clay example again creates a problem. So I would drop very, very quietly. Anyway, so therefore, Maya transforms into names and forms. Not Maya appears. I'm sorry to use this word. Maya transforms into this names and forms. All the 3 gunas only transforms into this all names and forms. And therefore, prakarshena kriti yogyatvat, very well, manifest or transform into varieties of the forms, the creation. And therefore, it is called Prakriti. And it is called Avidya also. And several, this I have explained you before. Anyway, and so we have to understand this much, that even though Jeev, Jagat and Ishvara are basically, we say, are all created by Maya, but we have to understand Jagat is created by the apparent conversion of Brahman by Maya, and like apparent conversion of the rope into snake by the ignorance of the rope, and Jiva and Ishvara are created not by conversion, they are just reflected. Maya provides a medium, that's all. Maya itself serves as a medium. and therefore the consciousness gets reflected. So that way it's a little different. Apparent conversion of Brahman into Jagat, right? That's apparent conversion. This is not apparent conversion of Brahman into Jiva and Ishvara. No. Don't say that. It's a reflection, basically. And so, Jiva and Ishvara are created not by conversion but by reflection. And I have explained you yesterday Jiva and Ishvara, creation of Jiva and Ishvara. That I have explained you, okay? And therefore, please don't ask that question again. That how Ishvara is created. Both are Anadi and you are calling as they are created, etc. So we have seen that. So basically all the three are Maya's creation. And once these three have come, the whole drama starts, right? Fighting of Jiva with the Jagat, and then have a fear of the Ishvara, and all this drama starts. And Ishvara also is ready with the hunter. He always, anyway, Karmaphala Data, and Sarvagna, Sarveshwara, Antaryami, all this starts. All the things are created, Ishvara enters into every element. Yaf Prithivya Antaraha, what is that? In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. One who enters into the Prithvi, and the Prithvi does not know him, and etc. etc. Antaryami Brahmanam. Antaryami means Ishvara. And so Antassa Niyamayati. He basically, being a Upadana Karan, material cause of the entire universe, controls the universe. And he is called Antaryami. Remaining inside of everything. Remaining as the very essence of everything. He basically controls the thing. Controls the entire universe. So this is how he's called Antaryami, Ishvara, etc. So Vidyaranya says, well, don't ask how does Maya do all these things, because it's logically impossible thing. Brahman being changeless, how can it get converted, changeless Brahman transform into changing universe, etc. So conversion of Brahman itself is basically illogical thing, illogical event. And how does a Maya achieve that? Vidyaranya says, doing this illogical things only is the nature of Maya, that we saw yesterday in the definition of Maya itself. So, the magicians are basically in the world, may do one or two impossible things, or the other people let them do something very extraordinary, but not in a whole. Whereas this Maya's greatness is, it all the time does this impossible things. That is really, if you see in the creation, there are thousands and thousands of things which are really frightening. And there are thousands and thousands of things which are just wonderful. Just wonderful. Certain creatures are such which you see, you really, your mouth becomes open. There are fishes, several types of fish and the corals and whatnot. Beautiful. And in the creation, if you look into the nature, I'm just talking about one earth, a small speck of the universe, not even a speck. Anyway, but it's just mind-boggling. Scientists themselves are saying. So on one side, there are thousands and thousands of things which are really frightening. And on the other side, there are thousands and thousands of things which are so beautiful. If you see them, if you experience them, you feel really, I really feel happy about it. So this is how it is. So it's just impossible. And in fact, it is just an appearance. Both the things are just an appearance. There is nothing of that sort. That's how he's really a great magician, has this power called Maya, and he does this job. So everything that it does is impossible. And therefore, Bhashyakara Shankaracharya ji has written 5 verses. He has written one stotra, I think. It's called Maya Panchakam. So in which, in every verse at the end, it says, Agatita Gatana Patiyasi Maya. So basically, Agatita Gatana Patiyasi. So what is impossible, capable of doing something which is impossible. Gatiyasi means it's a noun for this. And so Gatiyasi means it's capable of doing. Agatitam, which is impossible, it is capable of doing. And so it is not a temporary power gathered by the Maya, but it is a very nature of the Maya. And we have also seen yesterday the words where in the verse itself, you can see verse 135, Mayayam Durghatatvam. That Durghatatvam means doing something illogical, impossible, which is there in Mayayam, which is there in Maya. Swatah Siddhyati means it's a very intrinsic nature of the Maya. Na Anyatah. It has not borrowed from something, or it has not temporary power of doing something impossible. It is the very nature of the Maya. It is not even borrowed from Brahman. The capacity is not borrowed from Brahman because it just borrows existence only. Rest, whatever you see, is a capacity of its own, Swatantra. Let's go to verse 136. Navetti loko yavattam sakshat tavat kritim datte manasi paschatu mayaishetyupashamyati. So Vidyaranya says, well, Maya will continue to do this extraordinary work as long as the person is ignorant. So Maya will continue to afflict, torment, right? Just as a dream will continue to torment this me as long as I am in the dream, or as long as I continue in the dream without coming to my higher nature called waking state. Well, till then the dream is going to torment me. Same way, this Maya also will continue to torment me until I know my real nature. So yavat lokaha tam navetti, yavat, until this lokaha, the world, or a seeker, or a person, tam, so tam refers to Maya adhishthanam. So until the world or seeker does not know this adhishthanam of a Maya, which is higher in nature, definitely the Brahman, well, till then this samsari jiva, until this know that, well, it continues to get tormented with the world or Maya. And how you should know? Well, sakshat, that's a very important word. Sakshat, Maya adhishthanam, one should know. One should know this Brahman sakshat. So, well, basically Maya, so sakshat means aparokshataya as such. And here we have to see few things in the word sakshat. Vidyaranya wants to convey few things. So suppose the dreamer wants to, get out of the power of dream, he has to wake up and know that I am the adhisthana. But suppose a dreamer, attends some class and then, and there they have taught him. Suppose this is going on in dream, that there is a adhishthanam for this dream, and so there is a adhishthanam of this dream. There is a adhishthanam of this dream. Suppose that is being taught in the dream, and this fellow continue in the dream itself. He continues to tell like this, that there is a waker. There is adhishthanam is a waker. That there is a waker of this dream world. There is a waker who is adhishthanam of this dream world. There is a waker who is adhishthanam of dream world. Then the tormenting of the dream will continue. So what is sakshat? Aparokshataya means what? He has not to say that there is a waker of this dream world who is adhisthana. He has to say, I am the waker, right? I am the waker. And for that, what he has to do? He has to wake up. So, I am the waker, that is not paroksha jnana. There is a waker of this dream world. It is a paroksha jnana. It is not sakshat. I am the waker. He has to say, and definitely he has to wake up for that. And when he says, I am the waker, if he says like that, this is called aparoksha jnana. Could you follow? There is a waker. Suppose he has been taught in a dream by a teacher. Don't worry. Don't get afflicted with this dream. Basically, there is a adhishthanam, satyam of this. Adhishthanam means satyam. There is a satyam of this entire dream world, and that is waker. And he has taken it like that way, that there is a waker who is adhisthana of this dream world. Then the tormenting will continue. But he has to say, I am the waker. That's all. So that is called sakshat. Aparokshadaya. One has to say that. That is what is happening. Yes? Brahman is Jagat Karan. Brahman is Jagat Karanam. Brahman is Shuddham, Nityam, Shuddha, etc. Right? That does not help. So anyway, so Vidyaranya says, until one knows this Maya Adhishthanam Brahman as oneself, Sakshat means oneself, Yavat Tavat, right? Yavat Tavat. Until one knows, Chamatkrutim Dhatte. So means Maya will continue to cast itself on this Jiva until you know the Adhishthanam of the Maya. Chamatkruti means this power. Power of, basically, its, or let's say its influence, its effect, etc., its harm, etc., will continue on this jiva until the person wakes up to his higher nature, that is Brahman. So Maya Chamatkrutim Dhatte, and Dhatte means, it cast its power. And in whom? Manasi. Jivasya Manasi Dhatte. So it continues to affect in the mind of this jiva. Jivasya Manasi Maya Chamatkrutim Dhatte. So jiva will continue to suffer the samsara. He will continue to complain. Now and then he will say, well, I have studied Vedanta also. Now Vedanta also become a part of the samsara. And so that is how it goes. That's how we all are having this problem. So we have a Vedanta also, which actually should remove samsara. But samsara continues and Vedanta also have no attached to that. And therefore, this thing, so it's really amazing, right? So powerful. Maya is a very powerful thing. So it doesn't allow. Basically, it's a job of Maya not to allow you to see the fallacy of itself. It does not allow. And therefore, so anyway, so I should say I am free, then only. So Manasi Dhatte means basically, Dhatte, from Dha Dhatu. Many of people may be knowing, is Atmanepadi Pratham Purush Lat Ekvachanam. So this is basically here, and the subject is not there. So Manasi, Jivasya Manasi Chamatkrutim Dhatte. This much is there. But then we have to supply the agent, and that is Maya. Maya Dhatte. So that is how Maya basically casts its power to the mind of the jiva. So until Maya is clearly known, basically it will create this problem. So previously we said, now something which I would like to say about this Sakshat, especially you people may be doing Nididhyasanam, and for that one point which is really a side point, but I would like to tell because the word Sakshat has appeared. So previously, I said that until Adhishthanam is known, we say Maya is known. Either way it is correct, because knowledge includes both Brahmajnanam and Maya Jnanam. Actually, there is another reading of this verse. Yavat Tavat is there. Instead of Tavat, I have found some other places Tam. Tam means this Maya. So Yavat, the Adhishthanam of this Maya, or Yavat Tam. Basically, Maya. Till then, this will continue. So either Maya Adhishthanam, till then the Maya will cast this problem, Maya will cast its all harm to you. Well, or till you know Maya itself, then till then the Maya will continue. So what is it? So because this reading is there, very interesting reading. Either Tavat is there, the Tam is there, or Tam is there. Tam means that Adhishthanam, Maya Adhishthanam, right? Instead of Tam, then I have to take Mayam only, because it's a feminine noun. Now I can't take Adhishthanam, and that also is correct. So whoever we talk, we talk about this Brahmajnanam, and then you should remember that it includes two more components in Brahmajnanam. One is a Maya Jnanam also. So when you say, I know Maya Adhishthanam and therefore Maya does not affect, fine. That's called Brahmajnanam, fine. I am that Brahman, I am Satyam, Maya is Mithya, etc. That's the one thing. And this is one. And second thing is basically you take it as a Maya, then Brahmajnanam includes Brahmajnanam of course, but then Maya Jnanam also. And third important component of this Brahmajnanam is that Brahman is myself. So basically Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, which I talked yesterday, a line of it, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Tad Brahma Ahameva, is a complete Brahmajnanam. Three components. Brahmajnanam, definitely that I am Brahman. Maya Jnanam means basically Anatma Jnanam, that is Mithya, and this Brahman is myself. So these three components put together is called basically this Adhyatmic Jnanam or Brahmajnanam. All the three are equally important, and there is a reason that, this is an aside point. So I say that, in meditation, it is not enough to meditate on Brahman only. Brahma Dhyanam alone will not basically constitute Nididhyasanam. We have to equally dwell upon basically Anatma also, which includes our body, mind, sense complex, and our chit, our mind, our thoughts, and we have to basically bring this Anatma also into the meditation. That is called Maya, of course. And then will it not be a distraction? No. Well, how can it be called as a Dhyanam? Atma Dhyanam alone is Dhyanam, Anatma Dhyanam is not a Dhyanam, etc. Don't say that. Anatma Dhyanam also is a Dhyanam under only one condition, and that seeing the Mithyatvam of the Anatma. Maya is Mithya, means this Anatma, this world is Mithya. So Mithyatvam of a Anatma is as important as seeing yourself as Satyam. So that, because basically what happens is, every Anatma basically, it somehow torments me, disturbs me. So the disturbing Anatma must be brought into my meditating mind, and I have to say that is Mithya. And it will, and therefore, if you look at this way, that it is Mithya and it cannot touch me, which is Satyam, then, well, that also helps in Nididhyasanam, which is a part of course, a Brahmajnanam. So this is just an aside point, but since it has come here as a tam and tam, so, well, if you take it tam, so this, until you know Maya, then till then the Maya continues to torment you. Means how? So knowing Maya as a Mithya. Or tam if you take, then Maya Adhishthanam, Brahman, that is Satyam. But still that is not Brahmajnanam. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya, both you have known. Or Maya Mithya, same thing. But that Brahman is myself. That's also the third component. So Nididhyasanam should include Anatma Dhyanam. If you remember, I told you while doing a Tattva that while we were doing some kind of a Nididhyasanam, I used to narrate few points. Well, at that time I told you, don't all the time meditate like that I am Brahman. Even take this kind of a meditation of the world or the people around who are bothering you too much, etc. And well, understand that they are just appearances, and you are providing the existence of them. They are really non-separate from you, like a pot is non-separate from a clay, or a wave is non-separate from a water. They are just appearances, and therefore they cannot basically haunt you, etc. Well, this kind of a dhyanam also is very helpful, because generally Anatma Prapancha, world or Maya, basically haunts us, because we give a reality to that. We feel they are independent of you. And once you think they are independent of you, then definitely, well, you take yourself to be this body, and you take them as a independent entity, and what you are basically is insignificant, and what you are not is very significant, very large. Maya means all the creation, and therefore definitely such a large entity, which is very, very significant, definitely constantly haunts this insignificant being. And so you are Brahman, I am Satyam, etc. And also at the same time, this Anatma Prapancha, the Maya, etc. is Mithya, is also a part of the Nididhyasanam. So Brahmajnanam, well, if you have gained through Shravana Mananam, etc., and you are doing Nididhyasanam in order to assimilate, well, also make a point that Anatma Dhyanam means basically Anatma is Mithya. That kind of a Dhyanam is very, very important. Mithya means an appearance. That's all. If you can't think much about it, at least do this much. That something happened today, and whatever happened, it involves few people, few certain other things. All these are just an appearances of you, not as a body, mind, sense complex. Just as a conscious, only as a conscious being, but I am consciousness. But how I am consciousness? Well, then I have to start from Tattva period. Several times and several ways we have seen I am consciousness. So basically, please include in your Nididhyasanam Anatma Mithyatva Dhyanam also. That's how we have brought this point. Because tam, knowing the Maya, you become free from the effect of the Maya, harm of the Maya. How? So it is Mithya. Knowing Maya as a Mithya, definitely that helps. And then, well, if you know Maya then as a Mithya, then where does Maya will run away? Where does it go? It cannot go anywhere. It resolves into the Satyam, because the Satyam is the very Adhishthanam of the Mithya thing. Like when you know the elephant is a wooden elephant. So where does the elephant resolve? In the wood, right? If you know this elephant, this Pujya Swami is to narrate, that two people are going, in the forest of this, some in India, and they found one elephant, big elephant, and really it was like a real elephant, and then basically one was afraid, then other said come near and then touch, etc. Then he touched, then he found that it's just a wooden. So now the whole elephant which was creating fear, a given name and form, has resolved into what? Into wood itself. Could you follow? And which is a Satyam. And same way this Maya, knowing Maya as a Mithya. So where does Maya will resolve? Where does it run away? It doesn't go anywhere else. It resolves into the Satyam. Right? And therefore, this is how Esha Maya, Paschat Esha Maya iti upashamyati. Paschat means basically after the knowledge of this Adhishthanam, or after knowing the Maya as a Mithya, or after knowing the Adhishthanam of a Maya, which is nothing but yourself, Brahman. Well, Paschat means Sakshatkar Anantaram. After knowing this Brahman as myself, well, Esha Maya upashamyati. This Maya recedes, withdraws, resolves into the Adhishthanam, that is Brahman, that is me, nowhere else. Don't resolve Maya anywhere else. Resolve into yourself, that is consciousness. This is how we have to see the meaning. Okay, up to this we'll keep, further we'll see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.